The moment I saw her shivering behind that dumpster, her eyes filled with a pain no animal should ever know, I realized this wasn't just another rescue. This was a fight for survival, and I was about to become her only chance. What happened next will absolutely break your heart, but I promise you it gets better. Before I continue, I need to tell you something important. If you're watching this right now and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, I'm asking you to do it now. Not for me, but for dogs like her. Every subscription means another story gets told, another rescue gets funded, another life gets saved. These animals can't speak for themselves, but together we can be their voice. So please, if stories like this touch your soul the way they touch mine, subscribe. Because what you're about to hear, it's only possible because people like you care enough to stay. It was a freezing February morning when I got the call from a local gas station owner. He said there was a dog that had been hanging around for days, and something was seriously wrong with her. She won't let anyone near her, he told me, but she's clearly suffering. I grabbed my gear and drove straight there, not knowing that this dog would change everything I thought I knew about resilience. When I arrived, I found her curled up in the smallest ball imaginable, tucked behind a row of trash bins. Her fur was matted and filthy, but that wasn't what made my stomach drop. It was her face. The right side of her face was completely swollen, almost twice the size it should be, and her eye was shut tight. She was trembling uncontrollably, not just from the cold, but from pain, from fear, from weeks of suffering alone. I approached slowly, talking softly, but she tried to crawl away. Every movement looked agonizing. That's when I noticed her paw. It was bleeding, leaving little red marks in the snow. This poor soul had been fighting to survive out here, and she was losing that fight. It took me almost an hour to gain enough of her trust to get close. I sat in the snow with her, not moving, just talking. I told her about my home, about my other dogs, about how she'd never have to be cold or hungry or scared ever again. And somehow, through all that pain and fear, she heard me. She let me touch her. The vet's diagnosis absolutely destroyed me. The swelling on her face was from a massive infection caused by an embedded collar. Someone had put a collar on her when she was a puppy, and as she grew, that collar had literally grown into her neck. It had been cutting into her flesh for months, maybe even years. The vet looked at me with tears in his eyes and said, "I don't know how she's still alive. The pain must be unbearable." But here's what gets me. Despite everything this dog had endured, despite humans being the cause of her suffering, she still chose to trust me. When I carried her out of that clinic after her emergency surgery, wrapped in warm blankets, she pressed her head against my chest. It was as if she knew, finally, she was safe. I named her Hope because that's exactly what she represented. Hope that even the most broken souls can heal. Hope that kindness can overcome cruelty. Hope that love is stronger than pain. Those first few weeks at home were challenging. Hope was terrified of everything. Doorways scared her. Sudden movements sent her running. She'd flinch if I reached for her too quickly. She had learned that human hands caused pain, and now I had to teach her that hands could also heal, could also love, could also protect. But something remarkable started happening. My other rescue dog, a golden retriever named Sam, seemed to understand that Hope needed special care. He wouldn't play rough with her like he did with my other dogs. Instead, he'd lie next to her, just being present, showing her that this was a safe place. Dogs understand trauma in ways we humans never could. The transformation I witnessed over the next few months was nothing short of miraculous. It started with small victories. The first time she wagged her tail. The first time she ate without me having to coax her. the first time she ventured outside on her own. Each moment felt like watching someone come back to life. And then, one day, about 3 months in, I came home from work and Hope did something that made me cry right there in my driveway. She ran to greet me. Not a scared, uncertain walk, but an actual run, tail wagging, making these little excited sounds. The dog who had been too terrified and too broken to move was now running, playing, living. Today, Hope is unrecognizable from that suffering creature behind the dumpster. She's silly and playful. She steals socks and hides them in her bed. She loves belly rubs and treats and long walks in the park. Yes, she has scars. Her neck will always show the marks of what was done to her. But those scars tell a story of survival, of healing, of second chances. You know what the most beautiful part is? Hope has become a therapy dog. We visit hospitals and nursing homes, and when people see her scars and hear her story, something changes in them. They realize that if this dog can overcome such cruelty and still choose love, then maybe they can overcome their own struggles too. She's not just a survivor, she's a healer. Here's what I want you to take away from Hope's story. In this world, cruelty exists. Animals suffer every single day because of human neglect and abuse. But rescue also exists. Compassion exists. Second chances exist. And every single one of us has the power to be someone's hope. The next time you see an animal in need, don't look away. Don't assume someone else will help. Be the someone. Be the reason that animal gets to experience what Hope experienced, the overwhelming relief of finally being safe, of finally being loved. And here's something I need you to understand. Hope didn't just save herself that day behind the dumpster. She saved me too. She reminded me why I do this work, why every sleepless night and every vet bill and every moment of heartbreak is worth it. Because on the other side of that pain is this, a dog who runs and plays and loves without limits. So here's my question for you, and I really want you to think about this. If you found a dog like Hope, suffering and alone, would you be the person who stops? Would you be the one who gives them their second chance at life? Because I promise you, the life you save might just end up saving yours too.